if you have a problem with me, call me. And if you don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me. You heard that one? That's by Christian Bale. Apparently tweeted that. And it resonates so much. Because we live in this world where everyone gets up in everyone's business. Social media is a cesspool of people connecting with each other when they're not really connected to that person, not on a real inner circle level. But they often get this impression that just because they're stalking someone or they're familiar with all the work that they've done, the movies they created, the content they put out, that they're familiar enough with them. And as a result, they often feel entitled to an explanation why that person's done something they don't like. And they'll get up in that person's business. They'll start complaining, messaging that person. Why are you going out with Christina Aguilera? She's not good enough for you. That kind of craziness, right? Or there's this weird phenomenon I've noticed, right, where people think you're friends just because they're familiar with your work online. And my whole attitude is, don't get me wrong, I love everyone. And look, if I'm around you, I will be nice, I will be considerate, compassionate. But unless we have a similar mission, unless we have similar interests, unless you're someone that I am familiar with in the real, face to face, well, we're not really compadres, you know? I mean, you're someone that is obviously familiar with me, and I appreciate that, but I don't know you like that. And just over the last decade or so, I've noticed this weird dynamic where people define relationships very differently, right? Like back in the Facebook era, people weren't really friends unless, of course, they were following each other or they were friends on Facebook, right? And you send someone a poke and they send you a poke back, and that must mean, oh, you want to get down. The lines are very clear back then, right? Actually, not so much, but it was interesting how people would define friendships. And often you'd see this thing where people were in a relationship if they showed that on their Facebook status. Unless they did, they weren't really in a relationship. At least that was the zeitgeist. And then later on, we start seeing this thing on Instagram where you follow someone and it doesn't really mean that you're friends if you follow each other, right? Because you're just interested in each other's content. Fair enough. I can get down with that. But now on TikTok, there's this weird phenomenon where you follow someone and they follow you back. Oh, you must be friends now. You are more than acquaintances. You are compadres. And to me, it's somewhat weird because I follow people because I find them interesting. I like the kind of stuff they're doing. Or, hey, maybe I'm trying to get down with you. Or I don't like you at all, but I'm interested in the things you're posting. I want to keep a track of the kind of shit that you're posting there so I can respond to it, right? And be a troll. But it doesn't mean that we're friends. And sometimes people will follow you back, but it doesn't imply that you're somehow on speaking terms, right? And you certainly don't have my number. I mean, social media is just social media to me. But often people get the lines twisted and they think just because you're following each other that you're somehow close and they're entitled to know everything that's going on in your life. And look, I get it. There are people that you want to get to know. You want to spend time, even if it's not face to face, around people that you find very interesting, you find appealing. But it should always be the same kind of energy that you're putting out. A lot of the times, people don't get anything back, and they want to be up in someone's business. I mean, if I send someone a message and they don't respond to me, my attitude is, okay, you're not interested. I'll take a step back. But there are some people that will message you over and over and over again, and they don't get this idea that you don't know them like that, and they feel entitled to response. They feel entitled to know what's going on in your life. And it's important to take a step back, to realize that you want to go not where you're tolerated, you want to go where you're celebrated. You want to be around people that are enthusiastic about being around you, even if it's on the social media level where you send someone a message and they respond to you within 24 hours. You don't want to be playing this game where you're constantly hitting someone up and then you get frustrated because they don't respond to you. Sometimes the reality is you guys just don't know each other like that. And the reality is, unless, of course, you have someone's number, unless, of course, you are, my whole worldview is that unless, of course, you're in their face on a real level, you're not really compadres, not in the real sense. And I think it's important for people to check themselves before they wreck themselves with this shit.